Welcome back to another photo review video. Today I'm going to take these images that you guys sent me to the email that's down in the video description, and I'm going to give you some tips and a little bit of a critique to help you understand not only a little bit more about photography, but also stock photography. When you send pictures out for somebody else to critique, it's not the easiest thing out there. So, just keep in mind that I'm trying to be objective. These photos don't mean really much to me because you took them, so to you they might be special. I'm just gonna go by the technical aspects and just try to give you some tips that might help you sell more or just become a better photographer. So let's dive in with the first one real quick. The first photo is this sliced lemons, and to me they look really good. The problem with the image is it's a little bit too small for stock. Stock needs to be at least 5 megapixels, and they keep up in the game. So try to get at least 10, and that way you'll have good images for years to come. As far as composition, the composition looks great. I like the lines. I think it's mirrored. The same lemons have the same thing, so it's a pretty good job. It looks good. But when I zoom in at 400%, and I know that not everything looks sharp at 400%, but I notice the focus here and not so much here. When you're trying to sell a photo, especially in this composition, your eyes go right to the middle, so the focus should be right here on your main subject. Great concept, great execution. That's a very well isolated. Good job. In this case, I'm gonna say that no, this is not gonna get accepted. Number one, because of the size, and number two, because of the focus. The next photo is this building, and because it is private property or a recognizable building, it would have to be an editorial photo. The picture looks good. It's from an Osmo Pocket, so the image is a little bit smaller. It's only 8 megapixels. Osmos, I always check the corners because you can see a little bit of distortion here. Let me go in closer. You guys hear that? Watch. I woke her up, she was snoring. So when you zoom in close to the corners, you can see here the lack of detail, how it's distorted. Most wide angle lenses do this unless you can get a nice aperture. Sometimes even at f11 or so they'll do it. In this case, you also see a lot of noise in the corner, so that's going to get this photo rejected. You can see noise in the shadows and lack of detail in the trees. It's a great photo, but in this case, your gear it's causing you trouble. I think it's time for an upgrade. You got good lines. I like the composition, the bottom third, the trees leading. It would have been nicer to see the tops of the trees, but that's not necessary. Now with Lightroom, we can come down here and straighten the building a little bit so it doesn't look like it's falling. And that gives it a little bit of a more dominant position in the image. And I think that looks a little bit better than that. What do you think? To me, it's a good photo. Sadly, the lack of detail because of the camera, I don't think this is gonna get accepted, but you're doing great. You got good lines, good compositions. Just whenever you can, try to upgrade your gear if you're selling stock. Okay, the next photo. Now we have this bread with, I guess those are oats and wheat, and that's a great stock photo. That's simple, clean, and elegant. It's got great focus, it's sharp. I'm trying to find something to say because the image is very well done. If anything, I would have kept more of the knife in. I mean, that's just me finding something. These types of photos tend to sell. Food, top-down shots are very popular. As you're setting the shot, you could do more pictures of cutting the loaf. There's a whole bunch of other images that could go with this, but this one's fine. I don't see anything technically wrong. Set in manual mode. At a 1/10 of a second, ISO 200 f13, so everything is sharp. You can see in the corners that everything is sharp. There's no distortion. That's because of the aperture. And no, very well done. Next, what do I have here? Let me look at the camera. This is the Osmo Pocket again, and again, you can see how here with the sun, it loses detail and adds extra colors here to the trees. The corners are a little bit noisy. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see it, because it is a much larger photo. I think it's a panel, but you can see the lack of detail here in the shadows. So it is a good photo. It looks crooked. Maybe the horizon's a little tilted. If I crop it like this, try to straighten it out just a little bit so it looks straighter. But it's a great stock photo. The details are not quite there, and that's all the camera. I would still try it because it's an editorial, and editorial images are more about the concept and what's happening and not so much about the technical aspects of the image. The color is a little bit warm. I could maybe bring that down just a little bit. But overall, yeah, it's a great picture. You're doing amazing. So keep it up, and let's go on to the next photo. All right, so this is interesting. This is the next photo, and I thought it was miscropped. Is there another part to it? No. And the reason I find it interesting is because it's a panorama, but I would think that's the subject and not so much the sky. It's like it's missing what's happening there. So I'm gonna say no to stock here. You could also see a different color in the clouds. There's like purples or reds or something in the clouds, and then over here a little bit more. It goes more into purple and dark blue, and the lack of detail here on the tower. But the composition, see, the composition's missing. You're cutting out the waterfall, and that's what I want to see. That's where my eye goes because I know that's there. If this was just cropped here, and I didn't know that there was a waterfall, then it would be a different story. Like that, maybe. Now you're looking at the tower, the canyon, the house over there. Thinking those buildings going up with the rail, or anyway. So now the attention is here and not so much on the waterfall that's missing. So something like this I think would be better than the other photo, than the whole photo. But that's just my opinion. Let's move on to the next photo. All right, this is the next image, and what camera is this? Again, the Osmo Pocket. This is for 8 megapixels. If I zoom in at 100%, I can't see much, but just like with the other ones, it's a great editorial image. You got the building, you got the fountains, you got everything there. This type of photos sell for stock. I've sold similar images. It's just that with your Osmo, it doesn't really give you a lot of detail, and you're losing details in the shadows, and the high contrast with the white and the shadow areas here is giving you noise. But it's a great stock photo. I just wish it had a little bit more detail. And that's just due to the camera. Again, if you're the same person, you're doing a great job. Whenever you get a chance to upgrade, do it. Next, the next photo is an image of coins, and the focus is here. That looks good. It's from an IQ00. I don't know if that's a phone or not. f1.8, 470 of a second, ISO 56. It has to be a phone. Due to the focus back here, I'm gonna say that it's not gonna get accepted because there's absolutely no detail in those as you go to the back, and it's not like a smooth transition from focus to no focus. I sell images of coins, especially if you do a concept. Like I've stacked them like pennies and then dimes and quarters, so you have the financial concept, the growth, or maybe even coming down or something like that. These, I mean, they look good. I just don't think they're going to do much for stock because of the quality of the image. And that's all back here. The only thing that's in focus is this. As far as the stock photo, it's on a white background. The composition looks good. You got a white negative space here and the rest there. So I would say try it. I just don't think it's going to get accepted because of technical issues. And that is just the quality of the camera, which I believe is a phone. Next. All right, so the next photo is from an Olympus E510 with a 14 to 42 shot at ISO 100, 1/400 of a second, f5.6. The focus, let me go to 100%. It's a small image, so I can't really tell, but it looks like it's sharp. As far as a stock photo, I don't think so, because there's too many distracting elements. You got the wires there. You're not connecting with the model. You're supposed to be looking at the eyes of the person. Other than that, she's in the middle, and we're missing a little bit of the sellability of the photo. It's a good memory. It's a good photo, but for stock, I just don't see a concept or how the photo would be used. It's just that the distractions in the background and the lack of connection with the person are not going to make this a bestseller. Next. That was pretty good. So the next photo is from a Nikon Z7 24 to 120 f4. I like the bubbles. I like everything that's happening here in the image. It looks very good. ISO 320 f8 at 200th of a second. Z7 handles noise very well. You can see that there's no noise here. A little bit here in the sandwich. The only thing I can say with this photo, it's a great photo of this, but this is taken away from it. I sell photos of drinks a lot. That is beautiful lighting. You capture the bubbles, the backlit. You can see through the glass here, the shadow. You got a really good texture on that cutting board, but this isn't the way. Stock photos tend to be simple, you know, one item, maybe two. This would have been perfect, just a drink and the cutting board with the light like that. Great job on the drink. Let's just find a way to include the food without taking away from the beverage. Next are these mountains. Wow, is that? That's, as far as composition, I'd say it's fine. You got the leading lines. You know, you got this in a third, and it's taking your eyes up to here. I don't like that it's blocking the boats. Maybe if you step on the other side looking that way, you will get a leading line that will take you into the mountains from the other side. It's fine. When I zoom in, I see some problems here on the wood. That's from light, the fringing, maybe the lens type. I don't know what kind of camera it was, so I can't really go into the settings, but you can see here there's like purples and greens and different colors here in the out of focus areas. So in this photo, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like it was manipulated in Photoshop, because you got the same mountains, the same hills, the doubles, they're going up and down. The trees where that hill right there is over here, so that was photoshopped and removed. And then there's some issues here with the clouds. The clouds down here don't match up. So the photo was manipulated, and I mean, it's fine, but I don't think it's going to get accepted for stock because it has a few issues. The composition, the leading lines are fine, but there's some distracting elements. It's a good photo, good job. Just really try to get close in with the details when you do blends like this. You can see here in the mountains and the cloud, that top doesn't look perfect. There's some greens and golden colors here that shouldn't be there. Great, beautiful place and beautiful photo. Next photo. Okay, so this next photo is a guy playing cards. Again, the Nikon Z7, ISO 1250. So now we start to see a little bit of noise here in the background. Even the Nikon Z7 at 1250 is a little bit much. You can see here in the shadows, it's got a little bit of digital noise. You can recover quite a bit of that here with Lightroom just by adding noise reduction. And most of it, there's still a little bit, but not enough to be a problem, I don't think. I'm just missing the concept. I know they're playing a game, I know they're playing something, but I don't know what they're playing. There's another hand here. Because of the logo here, it would have to be editorial. And I don't know if the cards, if that is trademarked or copyrighted. Most of them are. Most of the decks have their own symbols and their own logos and stuff. As a photograph, it's got good focus. The lighting is fine. Just a little bit noisy because of the ISO. It's just missing a concept. It's missing whether I'm winning or losing, whether there's money involved. It's telling part of the story, but I think we could add a little bit more. Maybe showing the face, the model's face, whether he's happy or upset or a poker face or something. I think that would help the image. That way you know you're playing, but you give a little bit more of the story and not just the hands with 3 cards. I don't even know what game you're playing. I'd say try it. I mean, you don't lose anything by uploading the photo. It looks good. Just keep paying attention to the ISO. You need to bring that down as much as possible. 160th of a second. If you're hand holding, I know that's tough, but I know the camera and the lens have stabilizers, so I'm sure you can do it. All right, so this one's small. It's very pixelated, but this is a beautiful photo. This is not big enough for stock. It's not even 1 megapixel. But you can see the lines, everything, the architecture photography, especially black and white. If this had the right dimensions, I think that would do great. That would be a great image. Interiors like this, you might need a property release or try selling it as an editorial. A few years ago, I was flying to Scotland and I stayed in a hotel in New York, and I did some architecture photography inside, and I tend to sell some of those pictures at the TWA hotel. It's really cool looking place. Let me see if I can find a photo and pop it here on the screen for you. But these types of photos tend to sell quite a bit because they're clean, they're beautiful, and if you have access after hours or before it gets busy, you have really good photography like this. This would do well, I believe, as an editorial, or if you can get a property release, that would be way better. but you also need the right dimensions, minimum of 5 megapixels. I believe that is the last photo of today, and I'm gonna try to do something different. I know you guys have been sending me photos, and go ahead and send me more. I've been sitting on some. The idea is to make a video like this every Wednesday, photo review Wednesday. So let me know what you think about that. I'm gonna do my best to make more and more videos. I tried and life gets in the way, but I'm really gonna try to push to make reviews like this every Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you on Sunday. Bye.